Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. Today I'm sitting down with Alvaro to find out how they're utilizing the Cardano blockchain for the initiatives they do with their charity. Alvaro, you're very welcome to the channel. Thanks for taking the time to join.
Thank you, Paul, for having me here. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so I suppose, look, let's jump straight into it. Who are you and what is your organization doing with blockchain? Or actually, we'll start out with who you are and what your organization is, and then we'll get into the blockchain expansion at that point.
Great. So I'm Alvaro. I'm head of innovation for an organization called Switzerland for UNHCR. So what is it? UNHCR is the UN, so United Nations Refugee Agency, and I work for what we call a Switzerland's, so UNHCR national partner for Switzerland as a head of innovation. Why Switzerland for UNHCR and not UNHCR? It's simply as by creating a national partner, it's a different legal setup that allows you to sometimes explore a bit more and really look into possibilities to reach the agency's objectives in a different way before streamlining it and scaling up afterwards with the global organization.
Okay, interesting. So traditionally, what type of work does the organization do?
So UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, has a mandate of protecting the lives and rights of refugees around the world. So when I know the word refugees is in the name because the first mandate was about refugees, European refugees after World War II. But unfortunately, our mission still goes. That means that there are more and more refugees and forcibly displaced people. But exactly, so beyond refugees, we also take care of internally displaced people, stateless people, and other people that are persecuted, like that need to leave a country or need to flee because of persecution or conflict. So today we are taking care of our around 103 million people, forcibly displaced people around the world. And yes, the number keeps on increasing. And you'll soon be able to see the latest numbers because every June 20th is World Refugee Day. And for that, in that occasion, we publish the global reports with the latest numbers. So yes, plenty of work, unfortunately, because yeah, the numbers are still going up.
Yeah, it's scary numbers, I suppose. We hear a lot about what goes on in Ukraine, but we forget that there's things going on all over the world that's displacing people, and sometimes unfortunately it's probably forgotten that there's a lot more going on out there too. It's not a lot of nice things going on in different parts of the world too.
No, completely. We are present in more than 135 countries, and definitely, indeed, you do see a correlation, direct correlation when the conflict is or the crisis actually being broadcasted by the news. But you do have like lots of many conflicts and situations in the world, around the world, that are not that are what we call protracted or forgotten.
Yeah, I suppose it's not cheap either to help these types of stories. So what traditionally have you done for fundraising, or how do people get involved normally?
So normally we do indeed fundraise. Traditionally, most of the funds for the organization came from the public, meaning like from governments or international organizations. But as mentioned previously, the numbers of forcibly displaced people has been going up exponentially, and the budget hasn't. So we had to find a way to fund the operations that we're involved with. This has led to opening what we call private sector partnerships and fundraising a few years ago. So it is let's say a new path, not a new path because it's been open for more than a decade now, but exploring the ways that where we can actually not only raise awareness about the refugee cause and our operations, but also fundraise among the wider public. So I'm part of that as a national partner. And more specifically, as a head of innovation, we're exploring, let's say, frontier technologies and more like alternative ways to reach our objectives of fundraising for people forced to flee. And blockchain, as I'm part of the Swiss team, is obviously, given the ecosystem that we live in here in Switzerland, obviously has been quite a mind-blowing effect on has had a mind-blowing effect on me because of all the foundations and all the companies that actually are here present in Switzerland. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us to get closer to that ecosystem and see what we could do together.
Okay, and so the Cardano Foundation, obviously there's the Swiss connection there too, but how did the partnership come about?
So it was like around a bit more than a year and a half before the Cardano Summit. So our HQ, like global team, was already in touch with the Cardano Foundation team. And given the setup of the organization and our foundation, so the national partnership that we have for Switzerland, we realized that it was easier to actually start working and exploring ways to work together via the Swiss team, so Switzerland for UNHCR. And immediately we met the Cardano Foundation, and to be honest, we had little knowledge about blockchain, and I think that's a trend that you do see in our collaborations, meaning that UNHCR will never be a tech organization, will always be a humanitarian organization, whatever, no matter how many skilled people will get in or anything like that. So partnerships are really important. So we always take a lot of time to really choose our partners, wisely and baby steps, and taking the time to understand okay, what industry it is, what sector it is, and how we can work together. Now that's exactly how it went with the Cardano Foundation, with the CF, because they really took the time to explain, okay, that's what's going on right now. This is now simple things like the difference between proof of work, proof of stake. So immediately we were very interested in exploring ways of not only fundraising, but see how many other use cases we could actually explore for the work we do. We are a very field-oriented organization, so we do work a lot in the field. I mean, most of our staff, I think almost 90% of staff for UNHCR is actually located in the field. So it's not only a question of fundraising, but also, okay, what can blockchain do and beyond all what we hear? Because as you can imagine, when you talk about blockchain crypto to a lot of our staff, it's let's say we're normally a risk-averse organization. We are a risk-averse organization, so we need to take baby steps and go little by little, taking small steps, and really explain what we're doing, and also see carefully what we can do together without risking anything.
Yeah, I think when you talk to people who aren't deep down into crypto, then a lot of times it's just make gains, and it's blockchain and crypto are nearly separate in that in that sense. Like when you start to dive into blockchain and the use cases of it, and we see it can be used even outside of fundraising for tracking and tracing, so you can put everything on the blockchain and nothing can be changed. So there's potential use cases there in the future to put proof up of the different work you've done or different places you've helped and things like that. But right now, what way are you leveraging the Cardano blockchain or blockchains in general right now?
So the first use case, the application that we actually set up and created with the Cardano Foundation is a stake pool. So you probably saw that many stake pools dedicate part of their rewards to a charity. So we realized with the Cardano Foundation, what about opening a stake pool, running a stake pool that will be completely dedicated, whose rewards will be completely dedicated to charity. So that's a bit different. That's a challenge. We're learning a lot, and we're fine-tuning as we go. For example, having 100% rewards going to a charity, how will people take it? How will the community take it? So we've been listening a lot, meeting a lot of people from the community. It's been just a steep learning curve, and we're really happy about how far we went, and we also plan to go even further to other applications beyond the stake pool. So we created the With Refugees stake pool. So acronyms, With Refugees is our tagline, because we're standing with refugees as an organization. You can find the stake pool at WRFGS.
I'll put the links to that down below as well for anyone who wants to check that out.
Perfect. And it's been really interesting to interact with the community and using the stake pool as a tool to fund. And we mentioned it earlier, when some crises and conflicts are not mediated, are not in the news and the media, you still need to fund those operations. And you think about, yes, DRC, for example, or Central African Republic, that people tend to forget that there are still crises going on over there. So we thought that maybe the stake pool could be a sustainable way of funding these operations long term. So all these forgotten, underfunded crises. So we've dedicated 80% of the rewards to these underfunded crises, and 20%, whose goal is really to promote blockchain and find other use cases. So those 20% rewards will go into our innovation fund that we work for with the Global Innovation Service at HQ, so at global level with UNHCR. And these funds actually educate, if you want, provide training to the field officers for them to come up with real challenges and solutions that can be solved by using innovative solutions. And so this 20% will be there to first provide blockchain training to our field officers and refugees in the field, but also fund those projects. So refugee-led projects, data funds, and all that we need. We're just starting, but we really are really optimistic about this, and the fact that blockchain we can come up with many more use cases of blockchain in the field as well.
Okay, yeah, I think that's very interesting. You see across crypto and blockchain, sometimes people create a solution and then they go looking for the problem that they're going to solve with the solution they've already created. So the fact that you are deep down in the industry, you will be able to know what the common problems are, and where once you get the blockchain education, then you'll be able to start seeing these things more on a day-to-day basis to see where there might be actual real solutions or solutions that can make a difference, which is great to see. You actually, just an update on the stake pool as well. I've seen Husky token. There's a partnership there now. So with your stake pool, people give up 100% of the rewards, but with Husky token, which is, it's meme coins, excuse me, get a bad name. Excuse me, meme coins get a bad name at times, but Husky, I would say, is very different. And what they're doing now is they're going to be giving people Husky token who are delegated to your pool. So that does make up for some of the rewards that people do essentially donate for the charity, which is a great step to see. But you've also looked at NFTs. What have you done with NFTs so far?
Yes. So when we launched the stake pool, obviously we knew that we will need to learn and see how to get involved with the community, because just standing there and saying send us your delegations doesn't work, and fairly so. So we've been exploring with the Cardano Foundation's ways to incentivize people to delegate. And as a rule of thumb, we normally, it's already a very new sector for us. So explaining that we will split the rewards that were normally should have been given to fund the operation was a difficult, a complex step for us, to share, for example, the reward. So we've been exploring different ways of doing this. For the NFT, we took the opportunity of a few conventions and Consensus, NFT Paris, and the Paris Blockchain Week to test the market, the community, to see if they will be willing to claim the NFTs and purchase the NFTs, and whose funds will be actually pledged in our stake pool afterwards, but also other ways. So the collaboration, the partnership with Hosky has been brilliant, because even if we saw more and more engagement and interactions with the community, the partnership with Husky really, we saw a difference from before the partnership with Husky and afterwards. So it was really, really nice, and we're really open and willing to listen to what the community has to say and other actors can suggest in terms of collaborations like this, because we do see that no matter what happened, I mean, it's you guys are part of the community and know better how it works. And Hosky has been fantastic, to be honest. We definitely see the difference. So we have other projects in the pipeline, very exciting projects. So please stay tuned. But yeah, we're learning as we grow, and it's been a fantastic journey so far.
Nice. Yeah, it's great to see different use cases, and even things popping into my head there as if there's certain areas you're trying to do fundraising for. There could be special types of NFTs created for that. So rather than people just sending money, they're essentially buying the NFT. So they get that. They know the funds are going to help certain situations. And then they have the NFT as their, I suppose, their badge of honor of supporting certain situations. And there's different use cases that could be there. But so far with your integrations, what challenges have you found? Obviously, getting delegation into a pool can be a challenge, but even outside of that, is there other challenges you've seen so far?
So I will say the first challenge was really to get to understand the community, how we interact together, because obviously it's about anonymity. And normally when you work in, for example, in communications, you more or less know who your target audience is, so who you talk to, where to talk to them. That's been another one. I think we've been debating about, shall we open a Discord channel or not? That will be like the first time a United Nations agency opens a Discord channel for sure.
Yeah.
So all these kind of questions, I mean, we've been blessed by having so many people willing to support us, the foundation, the Cardano Foundation, but also other people from the community. So all this, it can get quite overwhelming because you don't know where to start, and we've opened this Twitter channel first, like Switzerland UNHCR Innovation, but then immediately we understood that we people were expecting us also to get a way to communicate with us via the stakepool itself. So we have a Twitter channel as well for the stakepool itself, and so all this, we've been moving forward with baby steps, but it is very challenging. But luckily, we've been very well accompanied by the Cardano Foundation and all the people, as said. And but it's a different world. It's a different universe, I will say, even.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I would say even within cryptocurrency, there's very different groups within that too. A lot of what I've seen from the Cardano Foundation probably aligns with lots of year goals too. They're not just about trying to build dApps for DeFi that you see across other chains. They're trying to do a lot of good there and build for the future. So I think the partnership is definitely a good one, and lots of the goals or vision aligns there. But do you see expansion then on what you've done so far? You mentioned a bit there about maybe some other integrations. Maybe there's things you can't talk about yet, but is there any other areas that you are looking at trying to bring in?
Yeah, I think it's just the beginning. Huh? We've been already looking at different use cases where blockchain could be used, and I think that the biggest strength of Cardano is really its community, and we see that on whatever you're trying to develop or you think about, you do find someone who's been working on it, or someone who's willing to work on it. And for example, you were mentioning the different NFTs. That's something we're exploring about. Okay, are people interested in, for example, deciding where the funds will go? Like we've dropped a collection with Endmaker and Turf of a collection that was dedicated to Ukraine, another one to underfunded project. So we really saw like people deciding and choosing which one they wanted to fund. What about later on? Shall we open another stake pool for a specific situation, for emergency situation, for another thing? Those are questions that we actually ask ourselves, and I guess we'll go like bit by bit, step by step, and see what the community is expecting. And another aspect as well is like field application directly. So what about ID? What about like payments? What about really, like I saw someone yesterday, I participated in a discussion, and we were talking, someone came up with the registration of lands. So when people are forced to flee and they don't come back to their home country for after 20 years, what about their ownership title? I think blockchain is a new field, very new, and for the United Nations even newer. So it's a first step. We act as a gateway for the wider organization. There are other fantastic use cases that we're also exploring. One of them got the Impact Prize at Paris Blockchain Week, which was a cash disbursement pilot that we ran in Ukraine at the beginning of the crisis there. So yeah, it's just the beginning. And personally, not personally, but I mean like specifically on the stake pool, we've felt a lot of support with a lot of fantastic projects that approached us and came closer to us. And yeah, I can't really say much at the moment, but we do have more to come, and really exciting things.
Yeah, that's great. It's great to hear that there is more in the works. And yeah, even the ownership, we hear that about putting land ownership on the blockchain, because when there is war and different things in countries, potentially records get destroyed if they're not fully digital records. And if it is on the blockchain, or even IDs, like with what Cardano is trying to do with the Tala Prism, or World Mobile is trying to bring in decentralized IDs too. There's lots of additional use cases for the blockchain. And for other organizations, do you see blockchain as a viable solution for other organizations coming in?
If you talk about humanitarian organizations like ours, yes.
Yeah, it's specifically in your area, or even outside that, if you do.
I know more the humanitarian and development sectors. So yeah, no, definitely. And I think the security that, data security that blockchain provides is important. We had a few incidents, not at UNHCR, but in other organizations where data got stolen. So like very important data from people of concern. And so clearly I see that we are at the crossroad with AI also increasing. I think that blockchain will have an important role to play, and not only for digital currencies, but also in terms of technology per se. You want to avoid creating a solution when there is no real challenge, and I think that that's exactly what we're doing here by having both worlds meet, is to propose real challenges to a community that's very creative into coming up with nice and innovative solutions. And if both worlds meet, that's where the sweet spot is, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I think, like we said earlier on, that lots of times I see in crypto is that people create the solution for the problem that mightn't even exist, and then they go and find the problem later to fit their solution, so they can basically push their project out there. But it's great to see having the problem first and then going to look to see where there's a proper fit. And not everything will fit. Not everything needs to be on the blockchain either. There's lots of use cases that just don't fit the blockchain in its current form anyway. In the future, when things are a bit different, maybe there will be. But it's great to see the integrations. But is there anything we kind of haven't covered here today that you'd like to put out there? Or I can put the links to everything we talked about down below too, for people who want to read further. But anything else you wanted to cover?
I think our NFTs are still, the ones we've done with NMaker and Turf, are still open for a couple of days more. So yes, go and check them out. And if you're interested, purchase them. They'll be very helpful to support us in our operations, and they're beautiful. I mean, the guys have been doing an amazing work. And if delegate, my other advice would be to, if you can, delegate. Be part of our group within this fantastic community. And last but not least, spread the word, because it's our cause, not only about, it needs to be, we need to raise awareness about refugee cause. We need to raise awareness about what we're trying to do in the blockchain ecosystem, in the blockchain, using blockchain technology. And the more we spread the word, the more we'll have like these two worlds, as I was saying, collide and actually meet and come up with solutions to our challenges. So yeah. It's talk about it around you.
Great. Look, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. Great to get more insight into it. Maybe in another few months, we could do a follow-up and see how things are going at that point. 3-4 months time, we'll see where things stand and see if there's any more innovations. For anyone watching, all of the links that we talked about here will be down below. So make sure and go and check out what the guys are doing. If you're new, subscribe. Leave any questions, comments, anything down below, and I'll try and get back to them or pass them on to the team too. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Alvaro.
Thank you, Paul. Bye.